Look at these numbers here. This is historic levels of tariffs. 10%, that's the minimum tariff on nations the U.S. has a surplus with. Means that 10% is really the new zero. 15% minimum tariff on nations the U.S. has a trade deficit with. And then we have more than 24 nations that have even higher tariffs than this 15%, including 30% on South Africa, 35% on Iraq, 39% Switzerland, 50% on Brazil, even though the U.S. actually has a trade surplus with Brazil. Just yesterday, the president threatened to impose major penalties on India that would lift India's tariff rate to 50%. Now, it's important to remember that even though the president says that other nations are paying these tariffs, it's really U.S. importers that are paying the tariffs to the U.S. Treasury. And economists and trade experts say there's a number of products that Americans buy that are very exposed to tariffs, including computers, clothing, watches, shoes, alcohol, furniture, and toys. Now, a lot of people are probably wondering, when am I going to see these price increases? Well, in some cases, you may already have. In other cases, it does take time to have all of this filter through the system. Goldman Sachs says it could take 8 months between when tariffs take effect and when consumers notice them. I think at the bottom line here is the president, he clearly believes in tariffs. He believes in all the positives, virtually none of the negatives. But John, we really are in uncharted territory here. There's no precedent in the modern economy.